Good morning, Amani. How are you? I hope you're well and welcome back to your poetry unit. We're going to be looking at hyperbole today. Hyperbole is a form of figurative language, just like similes and metaphors are, just like the use of personification. This is all part of figurative language. So, hyperbole is derived from a Greek word meaning overcasting. Going a little too far. It's a figure of speech that involves an exaggeration of ideas for the sake of emphasis. We do this as speakers all the time. We exaggerate. Okay? So our modern equivalent of hyperbole would probably kind of be like OD. Okay, that is just OD. You've gone one step too far. Now, the use of hyperbole in poetry is to emphasize an exaggeration or an urgency or a frustration, often to the point of humor. Why tell it straight if you could tell it big? I put a vocabulary link to a hyperbole video on this morning's post. Please make sure that you take a look at it. We're going to take a look at a poem by Shel Silverstein now, which is Sick. Sick uses hyperbole. I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. I'll be reading the poem as you watch the video. You can read along because it'll be written out for you. But I want you to notice that the poet rhymes. I also want you to notice what is the hyperbole in the poem? What is being exaggerated? So let's go. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. I've counted 16 chicken pox, and there's one more. That's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched. My ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. That would be your appendix. My nose is cold. My toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff. My voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbows bent. My spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a nail, and my heart is. What? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Oh, goodbye. I'm going outside to play. So, what is exaggerated in this poem? I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you said that her ailments, her sickness is exaggerated, you are absolutely right. It's outrageous. You can't have all these things put together. So, by the fifth line, my mouth is wet, my throat is dry. We know something's going on here, something that is funny. This is a girl who obviously is trying to get out of something. And we find out at the end that she's only doing what? What's the twist at the end? She's baking it. This is all just to get out of school. This should be familiar to you, although not anymore, probably. So, hyperbole informs the tone of the poem. So, the tone of the poem would be something like it's humorous, or it's outrageous, or it's lighthearted, or it's funny. Okay, these are all tones So normally when we read poetry, we don't read a lot of funny poetry. I'm not sure there are that many humorous poets out there. Certainly Silverstein is one of them. But we tend to think of poetry as more expressive, maybe a little more serious, but it doesn't have to be. So we listen for the exaggeration. So if you think about it, we as writers and as speakers exaggerate all the time. This is just part of trying to make ourselves heard to be more expressive. When you say, I've been waiting for you for ages, it's a little better than saying, I've been waiting here for 11 and a half minutes. Okay. Or my bag weighs a ton, which is really just another way of saying this bag is, OD heavy. So hyperbole is an exaggeration. We use it again to emphasize points, to bring out maybe frustration, maybe humor, um, and we use it all the time. We just don't realize it. So hyperbole as exaggeration. To look at a poem and to see hyperbole, you have to ask yourself, how is this being used? What is the tone of the poem due to the exaggeration? In this case, in Shel Silverstein, it was humorous. When you read I Ate a Spicy Pepper, keep that in mind. Okay, is this a humorous poem? What is being exaggerated? And the same thing at the end, you're probably going to look for a little twist, which is going to put everything into perspective for you. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Please join me on my live classroom and email me anytime if you need help. Hang in there, everybody. Mr. A misses you.